I know a ton of people that have committed suicide in law enforcement, people that are friends, or people that just like are miserable or still in the job and miserable.
Yeah.
And these are people out here responding to your worst day, and they're fucking unstable. The history on Instagram comes full circle to where I'm at now. Like, because I started it with the intention of how can we get in front of the camera and tell our story first when I was a police officer.
Yeah.
To, hey, how can we get more people to find us at the gym? That's when all of it just kind of started. I was like, oh, this social media thing, it's free. This is the quickest, most efficient way to show up, tell people what your product is, or tell your story for my police department so that before someone else tells it, it's us. Like, it's super simple concept. Why aren't we doing this?
I had a manager when I worked for Microsoft, and he said there's no such thing as work-life balance. He's like, it's work-life integration.
Yeah, and choosing like, and that's where the team aspect came in. I'm going to choose who I work with, which I used to hear people say that. And I was like, why do people do that? I just want all the business, until I realized that all the business isn't great business, because some people are just nightmare. It's just the nature of it.
Hey guys, welcome to More Than a Mortgage. The entire point of this podcast is we want to provide you a value before, during, and long after a mortgage transaction, long after a real estate transaction closes. One of the ways we do that is we want to introduce you to amazing people, and we have one here today in Denise Ferrari. She's probably the most bold and authentic realtor in the entire Treasure Valley, and I have no problem saying that. So she's really found her way into Idaho and real estate for that matter after a life of service in law enforcement. She's got a ton of stories. And I just would compel you don't want to miss that. So stick with us, tune in, and we'll get into it. Guys, I am super honored to introduce you to Denise. She has been on my radar for the better part of a year. I'm really, really glad that she gave us the time to share some of her story with us. I'm super, super excited to hear it. The cool thing about sitting in this chair is I often get to learn stuff that just like you do as the audience, because I don't know everything about this person's story either. So Denise, we are honored that you're with us today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
So glad you're here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh gosh, absolutely. You've been in my crosshairs. That's kind of a good way to say it, I guess, for a long time. So this is super cool. When we decided we wanted to do this, you were definitely on our short list of folks that we knew would just shine in this environment, and great story, right? So the whole point of this is we want to introduce you to your people, and to mine, and to ours, I should say, in a way that people probably don't know you. I mean, your story's somewhat known. You're pretty public when it comes to Instagram and how you go to market and stuff like that. But the goal is that this would be a place where maybe some of your story comes out that hasn't come out before, in a good way, right? And so the reason that anybody works with anybody in our business, or any business for that matter, is because they know, like, and trust somebody, right?
Absolutely.
So 100% of the goal of this is let's highlight you and your story, and that when it's all said and done, people are like, oh, I feel like I know her, and I definitely like her. Yeah. And I think I could probably trust her. And so ideally then they pick up the phone and they say, hey, I want to work with you some way, somehow, right? So that's the entire point of this. That's why it makes it kind of so fun too, because we really aren't scripted. We're really not. Yeah. Let me just say it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really the only way to kind of do it, is just, that's what I was saying, like, oh, let's just go with it. Because that's just the easiest way to do it.
Like Amy said, I mean, conversations that happen in coffee shops or over lunch tables, they're great, but they get lost, right? No one gets to enjoy that or benefit from that. And so that's kind of the whole point. Well, we're just trying to recreate a lunch conversation or a coffee conversation here.
Absolutely.
And I'll just kick it off, and we've already kicked it off, but
okay.
I'm sure you woke up when you were a little girl, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and were like, I want to be a real estate agent when I grow up, right?
No.
That was had to be your story.
No, actually it wasn't. But I do remember being about 6 or 7 years old, and I knew that I remember saying I was going to be an FBI agent.
Okay.
Until I realized that working for the feds don't make a lot of money. Then I was like, oh, maybe I should rethink that. So then I was like, oh, law enforcement.
Okay.
I mean, same thing, different, same, but different. So I was like, oh, I got to be a cop. Like that was.
At what age was this?
This probably very little. I mean, I remember talking about it I remember an incident vividly where I think I was maybe in third, fourth-ish grade, around there. So what's that? Maybe like 8, 9.
Third, fourth, something like that. There. Yeah.
And we had like a career day thing at school, and I grew up kind of inner cities, Hawthorne, Inglewood area in California, and some police officers came for career day, and there was this woman, and this was obviously in the late 80s, early 90s, So women in law enforcement weren't really a thing. I mean, it was fairly new.
Yeah.
So this woman came and she was like this really tall. And I was like, kind of like one of those starstruck moments. And I just remember that moment. And I was like, yeah, for sure. This is, I wanted that. I wanted to be her. I wanted the uniform, the car. I wanted to like pull up to a career day and like these kids just think I was the coolest shit ever, and that was kind of like what started it. And then furthermore on that, like I mentioned, I kind of grew up in the inner cities.
Yeah.
And so I just I was different, meaning my mindset on how I grew up and my surroundings, like I hated bad people. I hated criminals, like from a very early age. I had family members that weren't the best people. And I just always had like this like hatred towards people that weren't good people, like always did. And so it just kind of over the years fueled my fire more to wanting to, follow in that line of work.
Yeah.
The motivation was there very early.
Sense of justice, maybe? Should we say that?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And I remember like once I eventually grew up, we'll fast forward to where I would interview for these jobs or I was trying to become a cop. They would always ask me like, well, why do you want to be a police officer? It's like, they always ask you that in every interview. Why do you want to be X, Y, and Z? And, it would never start with, I want to help people. Yes, I did want to help people. Of course, you always want to help and serve people in anything you do in the service industry. But my entire motivation in every interview was like, I just want to catch bad guys. I want to chase bad guys. I want to like deal with bad guys. It was always like, and people were like, what? People always start off with this, I want to help. And it's like, yeah, you do want to help, but why do you really want to? Like, how do I get to help people? And it's like putting bad people in jail. It just like early on always came from that place of desire of like, I just had this thing, just couldn't stand bad people doing bad things to good people.
Yeah. Well, it's unique, I would say, that you grew up knowing at a young age, hey, I want to be a cop. And then you actually went and did it, right?
Yeah.
Because I think if I raised my hand, I wanted to be a vet when I was a kid or a firefighter or a professional baseball player or any number of jobs, right?
Yeah.
That obviously probably never came to fruition. I certainly didn't say, I want to be a loan officer.
Yeah.
I want to be a mortgage broker someday. What's a mortgage?
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely wasn't my story. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool that you knew really early on and that you can actually pinpoint why, right? You have this sense of justice. You don't like bad guys. You want to get them away from the good people. And sure enough, you went and did it.
Yes.
That's cool. So right out of high school or?
No, I went to college. My parents are immigrants. And so like, it was super important for my parents that I'd get a college degree.
Immigrants from where?
My mom and dad are from Mexico.
Okay.
And so I'm technically first generation. And so all my dad and mom ever wanted for us was to get an education. And like school wasn't anyone's favorite thing of my siblings. Like it just really wasn't. And I was no different. But I always also had this very huge desire to make them proud, even if I didn't want to do something. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go to college because I know that's what I should do and I can. And my parents came to this country to give me this better life. And, so I should go take advantage of that. So I did. I went to college and graduated from Cal State Northridge in early 2000s, 2002, 3. And as soon as I was done, I literally was applying and fast forward to my impatientness. I couldn't wait to get hired. So I put myself through the police academy.
Okay.
Without a job. I just like.
So that's something you can do as a citizen.
There was
you just go
actually
pay for it.
There's actually a police department in the area where I was where you were called pre-service and you could pay your way through and in hopes someone would hire you. And so I just, typical Denise, took matters into my own hands. So I was like, I'm just going to go put myself through the police academy because I'm tired of waiting for someone to freaking hire me. So I just put myself through and I got hired through the police academy by a police department in Los Angeles, a small town. And they hired me like weeks before I graduated. I actually almost made it the whole way and didn't get hired. Those years were still very difficult. Like there wasn't a lot of female cops, even though our police academy class had like the most females ever. It was kind of cool. I'm still in touch with so many of these women.
Oh, cool.
And a lot of us have left law enforcement since. And then I think the other half are still in and they're highly ranked. They're so successful and we all just stay in touch. And it's actually a really cool thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Northridge, you said?
I went to Cal State Northridge.
There was a pretty bad earthquake there at one point, wasn't there?
There was.
What year was that?
1994.
94.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't live in LA, but I remember that vividly. I guess I was 12 at that time.
I remember it vividly too, because I remember we were like under the dining room table, all of us like absolutely panicking. This was like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, earthquakes in California were a common thing. But
Was that the last big kind of LA earthquake?
that I remember? I mean, we've had a couple good ones since, but that one was like
That was pretty destructive.
devastating. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. So which little small town hired you? I'm curious.
Monterey Park.
Okay. Where's that?
It is right on the outskirts of downtown LA. It borders East Los Angeles.
Okay.
And so there was a mass shooting there a couple years ago. It's a very predominant Asian town. So I worked there for about 14 years.
Yeah.
And had a variety of jobs. I was a canine handler, and I was a detective working sex crimes and doing, I know, it's everyone's reaction when I say that. I was a patrol cop for about 10 years and then was in detectives for about 3-ish years. And then I lateraled over to another police department.
So 14 years at that initial Monterey Park, you
Monterey
said?
Park.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was there for 14 years, and then I lateraled over to Azusa Police Department, which is in the San Gabriel Valley, so a little closer towards like the Pomona area. Going out that way, if you're familiar with that.
A little bit. Yeah, I had a friend that went to Azusa Pacific.
Okay, yeah, so that's
So
where
right in
so I was there for 2 years, and that was, 2018-ish into 19, and then in 2020, that's when kind of like everyone's world changed.
Yeah.
All across, I mean, on so many different levels. And so that was like post George Floyd incident.
Oh, yeah.
And I about had enough of law enforcement at that point. I already knew I was kind of on the way out, but then I was like, well, what am I going to do? I mean, like, this is what I do. And so 16 years in, I was 39 years old at the time, and 38, somewhere around there. I had 2 kids already. So everything changes when you have kids, right?
How old were your kids at that time?
They were 5 and 7.
So young.
Yeah. They were, when I was still working in sex crimes, I had like a newborn essentially. Yeah. My little one was just born. So rough times. Those were hard times. Those were hard years. I look back now and I'm like, because my husband was at the time undercover narcotics, and I was like,
he's a police officer as well.
We both were. And in those years, we just talked about it like the other day. It comes up because I don't even know how we made it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how we stayed married. I don't know how we functioned. I don't know how like anything like worked. Those were like some of the hardest years of our life.
Yeah, I don't have anything that relates necessarily like that, but I would say it is amazing that humanity, that God created us in a way to be able to deal with stuff that we don't necessarily feel the weight of it, maybe in the moment, or we can't grasp the big picture, right?
Yeah, it's just like, I got to keep moving. It's like an everyday thing.
Yeah.
But in hindsight now, I'm older, and our life is great. And it always has been. It's just these different seasons you go through. And it's, I mean, you're married, it's like you go through seasons, and not all of them are great, but it's like getting through those times together, and all that truly does make you better with each other and just better individually. But I do look back and I'm like, I just don't even know how we made it. Like, you were never around. I felt like a single parent. And then I was working this awful unit, and then we had 2 little girls. It was just like the timing was awful of all of it. But we were both trying to live out these careers that we had envisioned for ourselves.
How did you meet him?
On the job.
Okay. And what's his name?
His name's Kyle.
Kyle. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys met as coworkers?
No, we didn't work together. We worked in neighboring towns. Okay. We actually met each other at a pretty awful circumstance.
All right.
I know. Well, it's like we joke about it because that's just how dark our humor is, but it's absolutely awful how we met. A buddy of ours had tried to introduce us, and we were both fresh out of relationships. And he's like, you guys got to meet. And I remember saying to him, like, no, like, I'm not dating another cop. I don't even want to meet your friend. Like, I'm not even interested. I just broke up with someone. Like, no. I just remember this whole conversation vividly.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you got to meet my buddy. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Yeah. And he's like totally rooting for his buddy. And I was just like, no, I'm not interested. But I remembered the name because he's like, oh, come on,
So wait, how long did this take?
This is a whole weekend. This is funny. It started on a Thursday. We used to work Thursday, Friday, Saturday night graveyard.
Okay.
And so this started like on a Thursday night. And I was like, no. And so then the same thing, like Friday, he's like, come on, he's working right now. Like, let's, because we would all meet up. This guy didn't
take no for an answer.
Yeah. We would meet up like on the border of each other's town because I worked on this side of town. He worked on the other side of town. And I remember saying no. And he was just relentless trying to get me to meet his buddy. And anyway, long story short, I was still a canine handler at the time. So I had like scanners in my car so I could hear what was going on in neighboring towns. And I would always try to, get over there to help because I had a dog and I wanted my dog to bite someone and catch the bad guy. So I was always monitoring what was going on the radio. But unfortunate circumstance, they had two officers collide into each other responding to a pretty significant incident. And they collided in each other and like one got ejected and the other one ended up passing away. But I went over there to help.
They're in vehicles? Like regular?
Yeah, they were like rushing to get to a very critical incident.
Yeah.
But, it's like cops, when they're rolling code 3, they're driving very fast to get there to go help people.
Yeah.
And, a lot can go wrong if you're, just not driving like the way you should. So anyway, I don't know how exactly it came to be, but they ended up colliding into each other and it was awful. So I heard this whole thing go down. So I started heading over there because I was pretty nearby. We bordered each other and go to help any way we can. Our police department goes to help them. And then in the midst of this awful incident where one officer is severely hurt and the other one ended up passing away, I actually I see the name tag and it says Ferrari. And I was like, oh, this is a bad circumstance, but he's kind of cute. And I remember like this moment, I'm like, of course I'd meet this guy at this awful situation.
And this was the same Thursday, Friday, Saturday weekend?
Yes, this was the same. This ended up happening like on a Saturday-ish morning, Friday night and a Saturday, like graveyard shift. And this is like the guy that my friend was trying to get me to he kept trying to introduce me. And so that is like how we met. Pretty awful. But anyway, so much good came of it. He ended up hosting some fundraisers and stuff for this officer who was, one of his partners that passed away. And we kind of just kept running into each other and seeing each other throughout the events of that week and 2 weeks. And we just became inseparable. And we were having a baby and married a year later. It was kind of insane. And now we've been together for 14 years. And but we met really at an awful, and people are always asking like other cops because dark humor. They're like, how'd you guys meet? Tell us the story. I'm like, you guys are so crazy.
What's the norm?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the norm is. I think people just.
do a lot of cops meet each other on?
Yeah. I think a lot
marry cops. Is that a thing?
I think it is a thing. A lot of these marriages are very unsuccessful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's true anyway. Unfortunately,
in general, I think it is.
50% of marriages fail, I think, is the statistic.
Yeah. And so, I think a lot of cops do end up marrying other cops. And I think it's a relatable thing. It's such a toxic industry. It's such a toxic job. And so just, could you imagine being a female officer and you marry some guy who's like,
not in the business?
Not in the business at all. And he's not even like a real like tough guy, aggressive guy. Like that would never work.
Yeah. So maybe it's more common, this is stereotyping, for a male officer to marry a non-officer, right? And maybe it's more common for a lady police officer to marry a police officer.
Yes, I would say so.
Okay. We got it all figured out.
I know.
I don't know what we just solved or why. But.
Yeah, super common. But yeah, that's how we met. And it was actually like such an awful circumstance. But yeah, so back to kind of how all that started. Like 2020, we had 2 little girls and I was just kind of like, I'm done with this.
Were you guys overlapping shifts so that you could parent?
Yes.
Okay.
We did that a lot. And that brought me to finally where I was like, oh, we're like paying for a nanny to like raise our children. Like, I'm so over this. Like, we're never together as a family or we're overlapping. We're like high-fiving each other on the way out. You're always on call. It was not fun.
Yeah.
It just wasn't fun anymore. And 2020 was just an awful time to be in law enforcement. It was like, what a time to be alive in those years.
100%.
So we ended up having several unfortunate incidents that occurred through 2020. We owned a CrossFit gym at the time and pandemic was like forcing us to close that down. And so that business that we'd poured in, 10, 12 years of.
So wait. Full-time police officer, married to a full-time police officer, 2 kids. Mm-hmm. And you had plenty of free time on your hands to have a side hustle?
We're both just crazy entrepreneurs, but yes, we had zero time.
Both you and Kyle are both entrepreneurial.
Yes. Well, let me back up.
Okay.
It was all Kyle.
Okay.
I was zero entrepreneur.
Oh, but you could have fooled me now.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I'll have my little shout outs where I'm like, all glory to my husband for, like pulling this out in me. I never knew I had it. Like his support and his like always wanting more for us, or what could we do more of? What could we do, to get ahead?
Yeah.
That was always him. That was not me.
So was the CrossFit gym the first?
It was his
side hustle thing?
Yeah, it was his gym. He'd had it. He was running it essentially.
He had it before you guys met. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he'd already,
he'd already had that. Yeah. And so he was pretty much running it with his mom when I'd met him. And I was just like, little by little, I was like, oh, this could be better. Like that's how it started. Like this could be better. Or why don't we have an Instagram? And that's literally how my social media stuff started. And it was like, I started like an Instagram account for the gym, and it was bad. But it was like, how can we tell more people about the gym, right? And the same thing, I was still an officer. And at the time, Instagram, 2011 is when Instagram kind of became a thing. So I started like our Instagram account for our police department. And my whole thing to our chief was like, hey, like, let's tell our story first before the media does.
Why Instagram?
Because
that was obviously
that was like the first sort of thing that in Facebook.
The thing, right? Facebook, of course, was huge by then.
But at that point, videos started to become a thing. And my whole perspective on it was the media hates us. The media is saying what they want to say from the angle they saw, what they saw. Why aren't we getting in front of these cameras and telling?
So there was some noble thing that Instagram helped you to accomplish.
Yes. Like the history on Instagram comes full circle to where I'm at now. Like, because I started it with the intention of how can we get in front of the camera and tell our story first when I was a police officer to, hey, how can we get more people to find us at the gym? How can we put out our specials or whatever like event we have going on? Or how do we get more people in here faster other than word of mouth?
Yeah.
And that's when social media started to become a thing. No one was doing it great yet. Influencers weren't a thing. I did know a couple that I had met while I was working at Monterey Park.
Yeah.
And they were YouTube famous people. I didn't even know who they were when I met them. And we like became buddies. And I still didn't even know who they were. And it's funny because like it's full circle. And then I realized, oh, this is how they blew up their gym. This is how they blew up their brand. They were like on YouTube just being funny. They were like comedians on YouTube and they were just well known. And then that's when all of it just kind of started. I was like, oh, this social media thing, it's free. This is the quickest, most efficient way to show up, tell people what your product is, or tell your story for my police department so that before someone else tells it, it's us. Like, it's super simple concept. Why aren't we doing this? And so that's kind of how it started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've never been a big social media guy, believe it or not. My Instagram channel did not start as a result of me.
Yeah.
Somebody else in this room, I think maybe had something to do with that.
Good.
But that was a result of, I'm kind of a business book junkie at this point. I never was before.
Yeah.
I read a really good book and I don't read, let's be honest. I actually listen to Audible. Yep. My favorite thing twice a week is throw on the headphones, grab coffee and walk around my neighborhood and listen to, try to get a couple hours of content in a week. But Michael Hyatt wrote a really good book called Free to Focus. And he talks about kind of the 4 quadrants, desire zone, distraction zone, disinterested zone, and drudgery zone. So if we can find a way to spend the majority of our time in our desire zone, then we're going to make money and we're going to be really successful in our careers. But you've got 3 other quadrants, 3 other zones that means if you're up there the majority of the time, that means you need other people down here. So long story short, social media for me was in like the drudgery zone probably. And I was like, it's kind of a necessary evil as what everyone says. I'm supposed to be on there, putting my story out there or myself out there. And it always, you know what I mean?
No, I know. Totally.
To have somebody else to help get it going, that was a ton of fun. But you kind of knew early on that it was a authentic way for you to get your message out there.
And I think that's why it's easy for me.
Okay.
Because it's just coming from a place of how can I find more people quickly? How is it, because you don't just get into this business with a bunch of money. So like, I can't afford to hire these awesome videographers, it's free. It's like, how can I find the most people the quickest? Because again, I'm impatient. Like, it's the fastest way I can do this to meet people.
Okay.
Or to get them to like, buy my product or buy like a service or just hear our story before someone else taints it, right? Like it was the three pillars of, of where I came from, police and then the fitness industry until now into real estate. So then it's like, once I left all that and we ended up, moving down here.
Where are we now?
Where are we now? I know we're all over the place. Sorry. So now 2020 has come and gone, and well, it didn't.
And we're sitting here today in Boise, Idaho.
Yeah, I know. So 2020
not in Los Angeles.
No. So 2020 August-ish, around there, that summer, we came down here after 2020 events and all the things that were happening. Our gym had shut down, and some other incidents had occurred while I was in law enforcement that had really pushed me out at this.
So you guys got shoved out of your gym? Basically,
we were able to keep it and recover from it. We didn't really follow the rules like people wanted us to. You know, we didn't shut down.
There was mask
we did for a little bit.
Down and all the things.
We did for a little bit, and we went through the joys of losing a ton of, friends. Those were the years where like the internet and everything just exposed everyone's political views, their religious views, where they stood, and him and I being in law enforcement really just exposed that. I don't know why at that point that we were conservative people. I think that was a pretty obvious thing. But I think what occurred is obviously like, and this is, I don't give a shit now, but it was super controversial then. It's like, everyone's like, don't talk about it, Denise, you're going to piss everyone off. And those years I was just not in a good place. It's like you just get there when people bring that out in you. And 2020 just turned into one of those years where so many people had opinions of police and of COVID and like what you should be doing versus what they think you should be doing. Everyone just had these opinions. And if you didn't go with one or the other, you lost all your friends. And I mean, I know tons of people that lost their family members over a difference of opinions, and it was just a wild time. It just kind of opened your eyes to like how crazy people that you were literally standing next to and celebrating birthdays and holidays with for your whole life, like, are now gone over the fact that, you side with this political view over this side of a COVID view, or, all the police defunding and all that shit that was going on. It's like, where are you at with that? And it's pretty obvious where I'm at with that, but all those things got really hard, and those were hard times. Those were hard times for our business. Those were hard times personally. And it was all at a crossroads. Because I was already kind of done at that point with law enforcement and just with being in California. I was just so freaking over being on eggshells. I was like, why are we living like this? This is not okay. And a girlfriend of mine had already moved out here, and her husband was a retired police officer. And they're like, just come out here and unwind.
Yep.
And I was like, I can't believe you guys live in Idaho.
And you never even been to Idaho before?
I was like, I can't believe you guys are moving to Idaho. Like,
okay,
what the heck's in Idaho?
Born and raised in Southern California. Well, how was the farthest you'd even traveled at that point?
I had traveled to like New York. I lived in New York for a short time when I was in college. I mean, I just
you hadn't been to the Northwest, maybe?
No, I've never been to the Northwest. I hadn't been to Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana. Nothing.
Would you consider this the Northwest?
Apparently it is technically the West, but it is not the PNW.
Okay. Did somebody tell you that?
Someone did tell me that.
Like on an Instagram message or something? Like, this is not the PNW?
I've heard it from a lot of people in Washington. They're like, Idaho's technically not PNW. But okay, well.
Western Washington, Western Oregon people.
Yeah.
They can stay up there.
I know. So I've heard it's not the PNW.
I mean, we love you if you want to come down here, but make sure you're the right kind of person.
I know. So the whole thing was going on. My girlfriend's like, just come out here and unwind. So we ended up, my sister-in-law had planned this whole road trip, and we partaked in, or is that the right word? Partook. We partook in the road trip events, and we ended up going to like the West Glacier and Yellowstone, and we did all that, and then we ended kind of back here.
Oh, you guys made a big to-do
we missed Jackson Hole, I think, and the Tetons, and then we ended up here in Boise, in Star, actually. We weren't really, I think we came to Boise for like a day or two to just kind of look around, and I was like, wow, this is a downtown area. This is I was so jaded at the time, and I was like, this is awesome. And then we stayed in Star majority of the time because that's where she lived. And I remember telling my husband, like, I had all these high hopes for Idaho. I was like, I just can't do it. I can't live here.
Oh, you didn't? It wasn't. No. You weren't feeling it.
No.
So many people. The story is the hooks get set real quick and deep. I feel like that was our story. Like, but we came from Western Washington. So.
Yeah, no, I was 100 miles an hour Los Angeles girl, born and raised. Like
a little too slow for you.
I was like the cows everywhere, the dirt roads, like. There's like double wides all along State Street and Star. I'm like, what? I was like, I don't know. And then I remember we turned into her neighborhood because she at the time lived in Hillsdale. And I was like, oh, how did we get to this beautiful neighborhood from where we just were down like on this? I don't know. It was just kind of like, okay, well, this is really nice up here. And then I still was like, it's too slow. I can't do it. Like I cannot do it.
So this was 2020.
Mm-hmm. This was like June or July.
Okay.
And so we're here for a whole week.
So like 5 years ago right now.
Yes. So we're there for like a whole week, and right about like kind of day 3, doing day-to-day life stuff. We were, going to the grocery store, taking the kids to the park. And I remember my husband looked at me one day. He's like, have you heard a siren? Have you seen graffiti? Have you seen this? Have you seen, like, he's going down the list. And I was like,
so he was very aware of what he wasn't
I was
seeing.
like not even like in tune with the fact that I hadn't heard a siren, because it's like a mute noise, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. No, I guess I haven't, or I guess I haven't seen a gangster just walking around in the parks. Like, there's no tents and stuff, like the things you're used to seeing. And then it kind of just was like, okay, like, that's nice. And it started to feel, a certain way. And then I remember being at the grocery store and like random people were talking to me, and I'm like, my girlfriend could see I'm getting like irritated, or like, why are they talking to us?
That's a good thing.
I know. And she's like, Denise, like, say hi. She's like hitting me, like, wave at them. Like, we're in the we're driving in the car and people are waving at us. I'm like, this is so weird. Why are people weird here? Like, why is everyone waving? And I just realized at that time, like, oh, I'm the problem. I'm the problem. It's me, That's because of what I just know. Yeah. It's like, just what I know and how I grew up is just, it was so bizarre to me.
Wait, just for a quick second. Who sings that song?
Taylor Swift. I'm not even a Swiftie, but
I was going to say that, but I'm
not a Swiftie.
I was concerned I might be wrong.
No, but I do know that song because we like joke about me being the problem often. So anyway.
They should name one of the studios in here that, because every studio is named after a Taylor Swift song in here.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay.
But
yeah.
Anyway, that's
so
neither here nor there.
Right about day 3 or 4, I started to have this like weird.
Wipe the tears over here from crying, laughing.
So I think right about day 3 or 4, I started to feel like this peace kind of come over me. And I was like, oh, is this like...
It's like the halfway point of a vacation. They always say it takes 3 or 4 days to actually get to a place where you can exhale.
Yeah. So I started to kind of feel that. I started to like stop missing like the rush of like, what are we going to do next? Like, why are we sitting around? Like, it ended up being like, I couldn't wait to go outside. And she like backed up to this beautiful cornfield. She had the most stunning house up in Hillsdale in the hills. And I was like, this is what it's about right here. Like, all I can hear is birds. I don't even hear a car, let alone a siren. And the kids, I didn't even know where the kids were at one point. Like, they were running around somewhere. And all those things started to make me feel really good. So then I looked at my husband and I was like, let's just go look. Let's just go drive around. Let's go look at houses. That's kind of like how it always starts. Like, let's just go see what's out there. So my girlfriend had hit up her realtor who, worked nonstop, just on the ring. She called her. It was a married couple and they were like, yeah, let's go. Like, just took me out, looked at a couple houses, and I was like, all right, let's just write an offer. And I was like, what are we doing?
How many days into the trip is this happening?
Right about the 3rd day, I felt it. And about the 4th day, I was like, let's go.
Okay,
let's
so
just go
the hooks
look.
got set real quick and real deep. Then it just took 36 hours. No, 72 hours.
Yeah, but that's me. Like, I'll make a decision really quick, and then once that happens, like, there's no.
So how long was this total trip?
It was like a 8-day trip, so to speak.
So by halfway through, you were already writing an offer and moving to Idaho.
Yeah. So our offer didn't get accepted. This is 2020,
Maybe for the best, right? I don't know.
Well, there was a lot of things that needed to happen, right? Like, I needed to, am I going to get another job? Am I quitting? What am I really doing? Is my husband going to commute like a lot of other guys we knew were doing?
Did you have enough years of service to get any pension at that point?
Yeah. So I had 16 years on at the time. And so what that'll do is just kind of hold it and freeze it till I turn 50, and then I can pull it.
Okay, so there's something there for you, but not at this stage of life. You weren't.
No, I couldn't pull it. I could pull others.
So there was no income source if you left the job, is what I'm saying.
No.
Okay.
No, there wasn't. It was like, I was like unemployed.
Sorry, this is the loan officer hack kind of coming through all of a sudden.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We're going to calculate your income right here.
Oh, I know. And that was obviously like, we could afford whatever we wanted back home. It was never an issue. We had both really high income paying jobs, and we had a business, like, but of course, even with all those things, we were barely making it in California. Who'd have thought, right? It's just like a no brainer. And so it was like, oh, okay, let's just hold on, because now I have to go get pre-approved. And how am I going to do this? Because now, is he going to commute? And now I have no job. So now we can't afford this house I thought we could, right? I was like, oh, $600,000 house, no big deal. Like, no problem. 2-point-something interest rate at the time. Until I realized, oh, now we're just on his income. My income does not count because I'm going to quit.
Right.
And so then we had to kind of, take a step back and really figure out what I was going to do. But at that point, I was pretty set on, I was done. I was like, I'm quitting. We're going back home. This is what we're going to do. We didn't get this house. Fine. We're coming back here. We're going home. I'm going to quit my job. We are going to figure out your commuting schedule. We're going to put our house on the market, and we'll have enough money from the sale of the house to pay off all our debt. and have still a good amount of savings till I start whatever else I'm going to do, which I didn't know what that was.
What part of town did you guys live in at the time?
In Laverne.
Okay. I don't know where that is.
Laverne, California. Beautiful town. So anyway, we went back home, put our house on the market. It sold in a couple weeks. I put my 2-week notice in. I was done. Everyone's like, what? I was about to get promoted. I was literally about to get promoted.
16 years, 2-week notice. It's like,
I know.
Then you make
and I was about to get promoted. So everyone's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm just done. And everyone was really shocked, but it was kind of like the beginning of a lot of people.
5 and 7 at the time still? Is how old your kids were at this time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're 5 and 7.
And how much of this was them in your lens?
That's all that. Like, I was just so done. I had gotten an incident at work that I just was like, I was just so over it. I was so over everything. I just was convinced that I was going to get severely hurt out there.
Okay.
I went into this like different place where I used to like love to chase people and get into crazy things because it was fun.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and even till the end, I was still getting into things or chasing people. And I was like, oh, this is so much fun. And I'm not thinking about my kids. I'm just like thinking about what I got to do. It's just what happens. It would be afterwards that I think over the last, you know, those 5 years of them, it was always afterwards. It was like, I'd beat myself up about what I could have did better, different. Or shit, I almost died, or oh my God.
Yeah, but you get into it without thinking about it.
100%. But then I would
wind down and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah. And then that shortly got really bad over time. And then I just continued to feel worse about myself as a mother.
Yeah.
And I continued to feel I just felt like an awful wife. I felt like an awful mother. And I was beating myself up constantly over these situations that I would be in, some which I'd go look for because I couldn't help who I was. I couldn't help being wired that way. Like, I couldn't just drive by things or not go deal with something I was seeing while I was on. Like, I wasn't like that, but I was putting myself in situations that then later on that night, you know, I just couldn't sleep. And it just 16 years of doing that shit to yourself is, it's like no one ever talks about all those things. And I think, and it's so encouraged not to in law enforcement because you're just viewed as a weak person. Now I talk about these things because like I don't care. I'm not a part of it anymore. And if anyone thinks I'm, you know, weak or a sissy and I'm not like,
have you met her?
You know, but that's the toxic part of law enforcement. Like no one talks about, and the way that women are treated in law enforcement, the level of what is expected of us in comparison to what it is for men is like, no one talks about it and no one understands that it is not an even playing field.
Just always a prove it mentality.
100%, which is why I had to always like do more, be better. You know, how much more savage can I be to prove I'm tough enough? You know, when I knew plenty of men that were sissies, you know, I knew plenty of men that I could personally like grapple with and kick their ass. But it's just like, you're a dude in this industry and you're automatically going to be respected, and women have to do so much to prove them. I was just sick of all of it. I could write a book on the toxic life of law enforcement.
So here's a question that I didn't expect to ask, and you probably didn't expect it. Would you do it again? So rewind back to 8, 9, 10 years old, and you said you wanted to be a cop. Looking back now.
Yeah. I don't know why that just made me so emotional.
I want to put you out 40-ish, looking back.
It's probably a bad day to talk about this. Gosh.
It's okay.
You know, I would do it all over again because as much as I'm upset of what it robbed me of, it made me a freaking badass woman.
Yeah.
And I don't say that often about myself. My husband just said that to me a couple times this week. He's like, oh, you're a fireball, you're a badass. You just handle all these things. And I don't like ever call myself that, but I think once in a while I should acknowledge it, right?
Yeah.
Like I do carry a lot and I do a lot. And I guess it takes, I could never be in this mindset or this kind of person or this woman had I not experienced 16 years of shit in law enforcement.
Yeah.
I had a lot of great things happen to me in law enforcement. I've saved, you know, little kids from really bad things happening to them. And for that, I'll always be grateful. But I think it's such a fucked up industry. And it's taken so long to like truly say that because it's such an honorable profession. I have so many friends and family that do it. My husband still does it. It is a great job, but people have no idea what it does to them. Like they don't. And I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I was talking to my girlfriend about this. I said, why am I like so upset about this 5 years later? You know, she's like, cause you've had time to think about it. You've had time to reevaluate things. Now you're in a different industry where you're dealing with different things. And, you know, you're seeing things from a leadership perspective now. You know, I have a team now and I'm running it from a leadership perspective, and law enforcement's no different. You know, you're working for leaders and a lot of them are awful. And I think that's where it stems from.
Sure.
Leaders in law enforcement should treat their business, they should treat law enforcement and their officers from a better business perspective. And I think if police departments were ran like a very well-oiled machine business, we wouldn't have half of the freaking problems we have in this country with our police departments.
Sure.
And I can go on a tangent about that, but I think if leaders acted like leaders and treated their officers like gold, because they can't do shit without them. If they took care of them, if they checked in on them more, if they did what they were supposed to do for their cops, especially after critical incidents, I don't think you'd have so many people leaving the industry feeling the way a lot of us feel after we do leave. Because, you know, I didn't feel this passionate about it when I was in it.
Sure.
I didn't.
No.
It took 5 years to be removed from the job to say the things I say, because I've had 5 years to think about this shit, you know, and then I see things from a different perspective, you know. I know a ton of people that have committed suicide in law enforcement, people that are friends, or people that just like are miserable or still in the job and miserable.
Yeah.
And these are people out here responding to your worst day, and they're fucking unstable.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. So obviously I didn't expect to like say all that, but it's really the truth. So to answer your question, would I do it all over again? I think I still would, because the desire and the fire in my heart that I still had as a little girl would still be there.
Can you measure backwards and see the cliched silver lining, right? Can you see the good? Like it has had a tremendous impact on you, right? There's no doubt that 16 years in law enforcement has shaped, and of course your life leading up to that as well, right?
Absolutely.
Has shaped who you are today.
100%.
So there's good.
There's so much good.
Yeah.
And I'm working on focusing on more positive things. I'm in like a weird place right now where business is amazing and I'm so blessed. I was saying something the other day to someone. I was like, I'm grateful, but I'm grumpy. I was like, isn't that funny? It's like you're trying to count your blessings. I'm like, I'm so blessed with business. I'm so blessed with, you know, everything law enforcement gave to me. But we go through these moments and no one prepares you for this as a leader or in success. You go through these moments where life is great. You're getting all the business, or maybe you're just having a great career in law enforcement, whatever it is you're doing. But then you get to like a certain point and it is a little lonely, or it's really, really hard, or shit, there's all these challenges that you were facing as a leader. Like no one like prepares you for how hard those things are. And I think I'm just in the thick of all those things happening. I'm growing a team. I'm in those leadership roles where, you know, people are trying their best. You have to train them. I'm not doing enough of what I'm supposed to do. So when they mess up, whose fault is it? It's really my fault because I haven't prepared them. And so you're just carrying those things.
Sure.
And so it's like I'm grateful for everything it did, and I'm working on trying to focus on what it did for me that's good, so that I'm not always in this place where I'm like upset about something, you know?
Yeah, and I think you can look back and be critical of what was broken and wrong, right? And that potentially can lead to shaping the way that you want to do things differently here and now.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And that's why I take this leadership role so serious. And I think that is why the stress level right now is more than it should be, because I want to do it right.
Yeah.
I want these people to be equipped with great support, with everything they need to be great. I want to give them business that I can't take on and bless their family with it.
Yeah.
Like that gives me way more satisfaction than closing more deals. Right now I'm in this place where I'm like giving things to my team and it's making me happier they have it than I do.
That's good. That's an abundance mindset. That's awesome.
Yes. And I feel so good about that.
That's great.
And those are all like things that I'm like, but I also know like giving is so much more than just like money. It's like giving everything up here, giving everything in here, like all those things. So there is so much good, and that does come from a place of service, you know? There was many of times where I'd go to work, didn't want to be there, ended up like taking a kid out of a home he shouldn't be in, and like I remember 2-3 o'clock in the morning holding a kid and getting them, you know, McDonald's or whatever it was. And they're just so grateful they had someone hugging them, a fresh meal, and took them out of a situation where they were getting beat or touched, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I look back at all those times and I did such a great job. at doing those great things. It wasn't all bad.
No, absolutely. There's a lot.
It never is. There was way more good than bad, but the bad stuff was really bad.
Yeah.
And those things, I think, over the years, they just eat at you.
100%. Well, thanks for sharing. I didn't expect you to share at that level or to be that vulnerable, but I
yes, really great questions.
Appreciate it. So, I guess let's fast forward a little bit, right? So, COVID happened, the gym got shut down. You guys decided you wanted to be in Idaho. Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. It's 2025. I got into this business as a mortgage guy about 7-ish years ago. So what's funny is I was just reminiscing when I first got into this business in 2018, you weren't even in Idaho yet.
No.
You weren't even in real estate yet, which is kind of funny how you can look back and there's just not that much time has passed if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
But enough time has passed that you now have a team, you're now living in Idaho, you've totally transitioned careers and you're in real estate at this point.
Yeah.
But based upon it, you're still Denise, right? You're still who you are then to a certain extent, right? You're still kind of executing who you are now in a similar way, right? I think about Instagram and that's obviously something that's stuck with you, but tell us a little bit about that. How does that, well, you've already kind of told us a little bit about Instagram, but tell us about what that looks like from a real estate standpoint.
Same thing, same mindset of when I would do the other Instagram stuff when I started. It was bad. It wasn't good. None of it was good. But my whole mindset on it was, how can I meet people? How can I do it quickly? How can I do it? Because it's free, because I don't have any money. Like, I haven't sold a single house. Like, how can I show people who I am? And so I just kind of started posting little things here and there. I'd find, like, I've said this in a couple podcasts. It's like, I went on Pinterest of all places and I was like, what are these real estate agents? Like, what kind of flyers are they making? I'm like, these all suck. They're cheesy. Like, I'm not just your neighbor. I'm your local agent, like shit like that. And I was like,
Happy Cheeseburger Day.
How can I make this better? Like, I get the concept of it. Okay, I'm going to go talk to my neighbors and I'm going to tell them not only am I your neighbor, but I'm a real estate agent. How can I do this better? So that's kind of how it started. I started posting things. It was not good. I would never talk in front of the camera because I had zero confidence about real estate. Because here you take a class for 2 weeks, take a test, and all of a sudden.
You're saying the bar's not very high?
No, it's not. Which is why we have 9,000 real estate agents and only like this portion of them. Produce.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people have awful experiences, and that's a whole other topic, right? Sure. And so that's just the gist of how it started. And then I ended up finding a team that was like super proactive in their marketing and super proactive on Instagram, super successful. It was an all-female team here locally. And I was like, oh my gosh, these girls are killing it. They're rocking it. I want that. I want to be a part of that. Yeah. How do I get on this team? And I remember reaching out, and it wasn't like they weren't taking anyone. And I was like, I got to get on this team. Like, that was my whole thing. I was like, I got to
kind of like your police officer buddy who was like, nope, you got to meet Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, how do I, just show something that I can offer that maybe someone's never offered this girl? So I just was like, well, can I just like help? Can I just do stuff for you? Can I just be there? Like, what do you need? I even said, like, I'll do your B work. I'd say your bitch work. Like, what? I'll go open doors. Like, I'll host open houses. Like, what do you need? I just want to learn.
Yeah.
I was so eager. And that kind of was like, I never had someone say that to me kind of thing. And I'm like, yep, I want to work. And anyway, long story short, I eventually got on the team, learned a lot, and just learned so much. Got into rooms and was around great people like you're supposed to do when you're starting out. Mm-hmm. And and just kind of set my own way after about 2 years on the team, and went out on my own and just was on my own. It was just me, and then I hired an assistant, and then my cousin moved here, and I'm like, come with me, cuz like, I don't know what I'm really doing. I mean, I do a little bit, but like, just come with me and hang out. It wasn't a team thing. It was just like, I just brought him with me. That's really all it was. Too. Huh?
He's all right.
He's great. He's great. I love him. So that's kind of how it started. And then I had a killer year. My first year on my own was the best year I'd ever had. And then people just started reaching out. Hey, are you taking anyone on your team? I was like, I don't have a team. They're like, well, I thought you did. I was like, well, I guess I do.
You do.
I guess I do. And so then I kept saying no. And then eventually I just said, you know what? I should do this, because then I started getting to that point where I was like, okay, cool. I've got all this free time as a real estate agent, and I'm missing out on, I was back to that place.
Yeah.
where I was like, okay, where's that balance? But I don't really chase balance. I think work-life balance is a fake thing. I know some people disagree with me, but there really is no balance. I'm 100 miles an hour.
I had a manager when I worked for Microsoft, and he said there's no such thing as work-life balance. He's like, it's work-life integration is what he said.
It's a good way to put it.
Now, I don't know that I love that because it's probably true.
Yeah. I just kind of go and
I wish there was more boundary and balance. I think a lot of it is what we choose to implement. You know what I mean? Like, I think
100%. Yeah. And choosing and that's where the team aspect came in. I'm going to choose who I work with, which I used to hear people say that. And I was like, why do people do that? I just want all the business until I realized that all the business isn't great business because people will bring you, some people are just nightmare. It's just the nature of it. And so I started to build this team out, and now I get to like bless them with people that, reach out that maybe like I just maybe can't give them all of my time and attention or whatever it is. But like, so I started to spread that and teach them my style, and, and I've just got a really good mindset on everything. Everyone who's, come on, I know you're not going to be here forever, but this is what I can offer you. And it's been great.
What if we zoomed 5 years in advance? Mm-hmm. What does the Denise Ferrari real estate team look like at that point?
I don't know. I haven't like really thought it out that far, but I guess in about 5 or 6 years, because my daughter's doing the math, she will be 18.
Hold on. Okay. So how old are your kids now?
Now they're 12 and 10.
12 and 10.
So in 6 years, Stella will be 18. And so I guess if you just add another year to that 5-year plan.
Sure. Make it 6.
6. Stella will be a fully licensed real estate agent at that point, and my goal is for her to absolutely take over. Because 2 weeks ago, she told everyone on the team while we were staging the house, "You guys all know in 6 years, like I'm going to be in charge."
All right, so she's decided that she wants to be a real estate agent.
She's 100%.
Which is funny because I asked you that question.
I know.
But she actually does.
My husband said something to me the other day because I left law enforcement. It was very ego for me. And I remember crying to him and saying, like, I can't go to the kids' like career day anymore. Like, they don't get to like bring me around.
Sure,
and because they used to, they'd bring me to their career day. And I was that girl at career day that I was starstruck by in the early 90s. And now that was me in my kids' room. And it was such a sweet thing. And now I'm like, I would tell him like, they don't get to like say their mom's a police officer. Now they get to say I'm a real estate agent. Like, what the hell? And so the other day I was literally washing the dishes, grumpy about having to do those things. And he comes up to me, he goes, because my daughter was talking to me about, she wanted to know what 1031 exchange was.
What?
Yeah. We went on our walk. She goes, "Mom, tell me everything."
How's she doing on her CE lately?
Yeah, right? Exactly. So I'm like, she listens to me and asks the question. And so I was washing the dishes and he comes up to me, he goes, "Isn't it crazy how you were worried about what they were going to say or be proud of you or what this career day thing shit you used to always say." Yeah. You remember that? And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "It doesn't matter what you do. They want to be you."
It's pretty cool.
He goes, "And it doesn't matter what you do. Everyone here in this family knows you're going to do it great and they want to do it."
Yep.
And all Stella's mindset is I'm going to be the CEO of this company.
Yep. It's pretty cool. I went to my phone just for a second because I can't remember the name of this, but I started a new book today called How to Make Friends and Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay.
It's an old book. It might be 100 years old. It's by a guy named Dale Carnegie. The end of chapter 1, the whole chapter was about basically don't be critical, right? So you were saying, hey, if a police department could be run more like a effective business, right? And so this first chapter was basically all about, hey, being critical of people is likely never going to get you anywhere. It's going to cut them down and immediately put them on the defensive, right? And as parents, I think it's really easy for us. I'll speak to myself. This is just a vulnerable moment here. I'm freaking critical of my kids all the time. I love my kids. I've got Cohen, he's 14, Avery is 12, and Austin is 10. They're 6th, 8th, and what am I doing? 5th, 7th, and 9th this coming year. But my kids get under my skin really, really easy, right?
Yep, same.
And they're little humans that are growing. But I've finished up this chapter this morning and it was so touching. So I'm a big Bible reader. This is the best first time ever that I've read something or listened to something that has had the type of conviction on me that it wasn't scripture, but it's called, I'm not going to read it, but I'll just plug it. It's called Father Forgets. I would commend it to anybody who is a parent. But it's basically this dad who looks back on this day or this week where he's just been on his kid, riding them because they're a kid, right? They're messy or they're not on time or they're smelly or they didn't shower, they didn't clip their nails. Or
I'm going to get all triggered again.
They didn't pick up anything, right? It's like my kids are the best. It's like I know where they've all been because there's literally stuff everywhere. It's like, okay, you've been here and here and here and here. For the love, can you put my tools away? You know, whatever it is. But I say that, I don't even know why I'm saying that, but it was just such a touching, cool, just a reminder for me as a dad. Like, hey, these are little people. And guess what? Like if I made my son sad yesterday because I said no to something he wanted to do. But when he saw me this morning, he's like, hi, Dad, how's it going? And he's 14. And it just there's still that sweet child naivety there of like, well, Dad pissed me off yesterday, but I forgot about it already. I love him, you know, so. That's
true. That's just happened to me yesterday too. And now I feel like an a-hole about it. So. Yeah, it is true. And I'm very hard on her specifically. And she is way too smart for her age. And she has her mind made up of what she will do. And she is very organized. She's very, very strong. And she is headstrong. And she is her mother's daughter. And I have no doubt that she will take over it probably 10 times better than me. Because
awesome.
She knows more about real estate at 12 than most adults. Because she listens to it every day.
There you go. They're little sponges.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, I hope that my kids would want to take over my business someday. If I have a business to give them when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I know, right? If I do it right, that's the other thing, you know. But even if I don't turn it over to her, she's so locked in on the value of it that she will be in some capacity, some sort of entrepreneur. She will be in real estate in some capacity. We'd like to think that we would do it right or we could turn it over to them, but real estate's such a weird thing like that, right?
It's tough, right? Because people are endeared to you. And so the goal in our business is that they're less endeared to us and more endeared to our team or our brand, right? And so how do you build a business that will pay you beyond your direct day-to-day involvement? Like that's the challenge that we're in. Yeah. That's my goal.
Well, she looks a lot like me, so maybe we can just be like, here's a younger, better version here. Here she is.
It's funny.
But yeah, so I mean that would ideally be a goal. Am I naive to think she would go a different route? Yeah, no, I'm not. I know she definitely could, but I don't know. I just think I look at, you know, people like Lacey Bishop, and she's got this business just running smoothly, and I admire that. And I would love to have a business where it's running pretty flawlessly with the team, and I am able to, you know, kind of just pick and choose what I do and how I run things, or how I continue to I'm good at bringing in the business and like meeting people and talking to people. I'm good at that. I'm not good at organizing things. So I think it's good for me to it would be like ideal for me to keep doing that part of it.
Yeah, stay at the top of the funnel, I think is the right way to do it. That's my goal as well, is to stay at the top of the funnel and to be the face as much as I can be at my business, knowing that that's where the rewards are, really. I mean, if you can go find the fish, you can find somebody else to be great on your team to help move it through the funnel is the goal. But
I think that's kind of just like the short-term part of it, and long-term. But I don't know. I don't think I could ever like not do something. Sure. I'm just not someone who probably will ever retire.
I don't think God made us to sit on our butts, honestly. I think moms that decide they want to stay home, it's amazing. They're not sitting on their butts. My wife was a stay-at-home mom for a long time, and she's like, hey, I got to do more. And so she's part-time at our church now, and it's filling her cup, and it's awesome. Yeah. But yes, I think we are always going to be made for a purpose. That the goal of retirement and just pleasure and play, I don't know. I mean, it sounds fun, but I don't think I could golf enough that I would actually could find enough purpose in it. So I'm with you there.
For sure. People always ask me, oh, what do you do for fun? And, you know, not such a good thing. I don't like do anything for fun anymore. Like work's fun for me. I like to just keep going.
Well, that's okay. I mean, as long as it actually does provide you some sort of pleasure and relaxation, then... But otherwise, you might need to pick up some sort of...
I know. I had hobbies. I need to resort back to them. Yeah. I've
be
lost...
a painter. I could see you doing that.
Probably not.
I'm kidding. One of the questions we always like to ask everybody, we have a couple, if money was not an object, right? So we all work for what? We need income, right? Yeah. So there's a certain part of our jobs, whether it's real estate, whether it's financial advisor, whether it's insurance, whether it's fill in the blank, whatever. we work to get an income.
Mm-hmm.
What if income wasn't required and for some reason you were still a real estate agent? How would you show up to that?
We've talked about this. And I remember when you said this at one of the classes we attended, and I was like, that is such a mind-blowing like way to approach a business. And I think it's the way to do it. And I think we should always approach it like that. I always come from a place of like, I'm still serving you and I'm helping you. And I have helped a lot of people and not made any money. And so awesome. I don't think anything really changes. I'm going to keep showing up the same way. I don't think a lot of people can say that about themselves in this industry. But I think it would take a little bit of the edge off, right? Like, cause we make money for obviously to support our families, but then we have like these goals of things, you know? And I think for me, like I would not be so stressed about things if I didn't need it. That's just an added thing. Like, you know, we need things to go a certain way because we have A, B, and C lined up or employees or things like that. So I guess if I didn't have the stress of having to make money because I have employees or things like that, then I probably would be way more chill.
Yeah.
Because I'm not chill right now.
I think
feel
all
like
of
I'm
us,
constant. Yeah, we would
all be better at our jobs if
100%.
we didn't need the money behind it.
Yeah.
But it's just a provocative thing to think about.
It is because it's like, oh, I wouldn't be as crazy as I am in my head 24/7. What can I do more? I wouldn't be doing that.
Well, hey, we could talk for hours. I know that. Maybe we need an episode 2 in the future. Who knows? But how do people get in touch with you? Let's just say that this was touching to somebody, and I'm sure that it was. What's the best way for somebody to get in touch with you?
Of course, they can call or text me, or they could find me on Instagram and go get a couple laughs at my videos. Or
is it okay if we put your number down below?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we'll put your number down below. They can find you on Instagram.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me and asking hard questions.
Thanks for being here and being vulnerable. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.